Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
Baldur's Gate 3, Icewind Dale, Neverwinter Nights, all great games. But did you launch them by typing in C, D, and backslash? No. For a true D&D experience, you must go back. Way back. Back to a time where you chose between VGA or EGA. Where your sound, if you were lucky, came from a sound blaster. Well before adventures with such luxuries as a mouse. A time when your anti-piracy devices were a cardboard wheel that you really, really hoped you didn't spill anything on because it would destroy it and you were screwed. We are, of course, talking about the joy and challenge of strategic simulation gamings with the Pool of Radiance. Build and gather an intrepid group of 6 travelers and head out into the great expanse. What will you discover out there? Other than an amazing ability to get lost in the town because you have no idea where you actually are and what door you're supposed to go in next? Simple, evil magic users and their monstrous minions. All so you can complete a great quest, along with, some side quests, to enamor your party into the annals of Forgotten Realms, and then reform in for Curse of Azure Bonds, then again for Secrets of Silver Blades, and finally for Pools of Darkness, which, side note, super cool thing to do where I can play the same people through 4 games. That's not important. Adventure, fight, talk, and then adventure some more as you enjoy the greatest Dungeons & Dragons adaptation in history. So load up your DOS box, remember to resize that window, build a customized party, and get ready for the Pools of Radiance.
Retro Recall.
Welcome back to Retro Recall, the show with more nostalgia than the number of times we've rolled a 1 when all we needed was a 5. That's all I needed was 5. Got
out
a
of
1.
20.
Out of 20.
Out of 20.
Got a 1. How many times? Happens all the time. You're like, I got this.
I need to caveat that because I do a 40K Lorecast show where it's out of 6. Well, you're not gonna get the 5, Tom. Like, no, we're doing THACO, guys. This is out of 20.
D20, Dungeons and Dragons stuff. So what are we talking about, John?
All right. Today we are covering my second favorite franchise or series of all time after XCOM. Just XCOM always wins. Mm-hmm. It's a series that I still play to this day. And it's one of the reasons I still can use DOS commands is because of this series. Because it still is fresh in my brain. Strategic Simulations Incorporated, or SSI. And we're going to cover the first game they made because I love this series so much. I made Tom do it for 2 straight weeks.
Oh boy.
So this week we're doing the first one, which is Pool of Radiance. And we'll probably just do all of Forgotten Realms, to be honest. We are doing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons ported over to computers at its purest level, and it is so well done.
Well, it's also
so well
so
done.
80s PC. So let me here.
It is.
But I have a feeling most of our audience probably played consoles growing up, and a smaller percentage of them had PCs, right? So we're just off the heels.
Ooh.
Do you think everybody had PCs? Or,
oh no, I don't care. I'm just saying. Oh, you missed out. This is the greatest thing ever
I thought you were like, oh, maybe Tom's wrong. But I have a feeling a smaller percentage of you grew up with PCs in the house. John and I happen to be fortunate enough to do that. I missed this series of games, but I just need to say this before we get in. If you're coming at this going, and we're about to talk about it, it's 1988. Final Fantasy 1 has been out, Dragon Warrior has been out, and you're like, oh, well, this is going to feel a lot like those other role-playing games I know from the NES. Welcome to PC world, my friend, because it is a completely different animal.
I'll be honest, I enjoyed playing those games. Those games suck compared to this thing.
It's a difference of like depth, but also we're going to get into it. We'll explain the differences here because it is a very different kind of thing for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's a good segue. We are talking 1988. So as always, 1988. You know who's the most popular song? George Michael, One More Try. No idea.
Another George Michael song. Yeah.
Also, Rick Astley apparently had more than one song.
Yeah.
Because there are two hits.
Yes.
I only know Rick Astley from
the joke. From
getting Rick Astley'd. Like I know him as a verb.
Never gonna give you
what
up.
I know him as.
Yeah.
I know him as a verb.
Yeah.
I guess he had another hit. Don't care.
Together Forever. And I can I've heard this enough times on the radio as a kid that I can still hear it in my brain. Yep.
No idea.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I mean, to this day, the only thing I know about Rick Astley is every now and then I'll be somewhere in a store and Never Gonna Give You Up is playing, and my immediate thought is someone's getting pranked.
Yeah, somebody clicked the wrong link.
Only thing I know it as.
Right.
Although I should also mention that Keyboard Cat is the ringtone on my phone and has been the ringtone on my phone for 20 years now.
Holy moly. We're old.
Remember Keyboard? That cat
old.
is really dead, by the way. Like really dead.
Yeah.
This isn't Schrodinger dead. That cat's just dead.
Yeah, these cats don't live that long. Yeah. All right. What about the good music? What about the stuff that you and I would be into?
1988, though, great era for music for me. We had Operation Ivy's first release. We had Dead Milkmen. We had Bad Religion Suffer. Screeching Weasels, Boogada Boogada Boogada. Slayer, South of Heaven. Metallica, and Justice for All. I mean, 1988 was a very good year. Kind of inflection year, if I'm being honest, and from a John music standpoint. Metal's kind of coming down.
Yeah.
We're nearing the end of the 80s metal. Hair metal is what hair metal is. We're going to get a lull that will then create grunge. But punk is on the opposite. Punk got really good in the early 80s. Mid 80s started to get kind of weird. And now we're about to get this massive upswing.
Yeah.
So
it's on the cusp of becoming mainstream, but it's still got a few years to go.
Yeah. It's more what I think of it as is that, and we've talked about this before, the early 90s, independence started to really kick off hard. Right. There's a lot of reasons for this, mostly the end of the Reagan era, but that's what it was. Now, box office. I've given up on actually listing the movies. I'm just talking about movies that are epically terrible and hilarious. So number one movie at the box office is Crocodile Dundee. It's bad, but it's kind of good.
Oh, that a knife? Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. It's fine.
It was of its time. It was.
I probably could watch it again, is what I'm getting. If it was on TV and I couldn't find the remote, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Then you've got Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Probably still good.
Yeah. No, this one like very creative, and the special effects for the time, combining the animated characters with the real live action, all of that still looks good. If you look it up.
I'm surprised it was 1988. I figured the movie was later. But now what I want to talk about is a true gem of garbage, which is Red Heat.
Okay, so
and I know a couple of you are very excited that I'm talking about Red Heat.
All right, so
and a lot of you are going,
insight.
What the hell is Red Heat?
Yeah, I'm on that second one. So this is another one of those that you bring up, and I'm like, wait a minute, I have not made the point to go watch this.
Oh, it's terrible.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
Let's start off with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jim Belushi.
Okay.
We are not off to a good start here. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a Soviet policeman sent to Chicago to track down an evil drug kingpin who's been arrested for a traffic violation.
Oh.
Okay. International drug kingpin. Jim Belushi is a Chicago cop. It is so terrible. Basically, they gave Arnold Schwarzenegger $8 million to be in this movie, and he went, sure, and worked out a bunch.
Does he have a Russian accent, or does he just sound like... Oh, he does?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. He Russian haircut. He walks so rigid in the film. I give him some credit. His physical acting in it is quite impressive. He walks dead. When he plays the Terminator, he actually has more fluidity in his movement than he does in Red Heat.
Right.
But this movie has everything. You've got basically two men naked fighting in the snow for no reason.
Right.
We've got a lot of explosions, excessive levels of violence, by the way, for 1988. Jim Belushi just being that Chicago cop who's kind of funny, but also wily. It is terrible. Go watch it. Don't watch
it's
all of it.
It's bad enough to be good. Is it in that category? Yeah.
Go check the trailer. You'll be impressed of like, this movie was made. Yeah. They were really excited about this. This was an attempt at putting Arnold Schwarzenegger in a comedy. I think this and Twins came out around the same time, where it's a similar character.
Yeah, when he started branching out into these other roles.
But Twins is actually a good movie.
Right.
Twins and Kindergarten
Danny DeVito,
Cop.
Yeah.
Magical. Oh yeah, Twins is great.
Yeah.
This one's not.
Yeah, okay. All right.
There you go.
I need to put it on my list.
I just enjoy finding these gems of horror.
Oh, it's great. It's good stuff. It's good. This we've joked about this, but this might branch out into if this show continues to do well and keeps growing, please thank you for listening and please tell your friends.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll branch off and do a terrible movie episode every so often.
Just John talking about things he saw, like, you watched that movie? Well, yeah.
Yeah. In fact, there's probably a number of these where you can be like, Tom, I'm going to take you on an adventure of a terrible movie you've never seen. Then I watch the movie and then you're like, let's discuss. But anyway, let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons, because this is fun. Both you and I love Dungeons and Dragons, and this is...
And I've been playing it since... All right, so fun story. When I say I've been playing D&D since the 80s, I started playing D&D in the 80s. And I've never picked up an edition beyond 3rd.
Oh, wow.
I just stopped. I've not played. I've dabbled in 4th. I think 5th is out now. What
5th
are we
is
up
out
to now?
Yeah, it's like...
I haven't played any 5th. I was throwing some 4th. I played 1, 2. I mean, I consider AD&D 3, so I actually might just technically be 2. It depends on how you define them. I think it is
technically 2. I think 3rd edition is its own AD&D. Like they stopped using AD&D and just called it 3rd edition.
Because that's where it gets a little bit terminology here gets a little bit. But I stopped playing at AD&D. That is my favorite edition. I played after that. And you're dealing with one of them. I don't have it now. Here's what I'll say.
For anybody who doesn't know, I just have to throw this in there.
Yeah.
AD&D, the rules are way more complicated and obtuse than the later editions because they streamlined a lot of stuff. So this is like Dungeons and Dragons hard mode.
Because you guys are weak. I'm kidding.
Because everyone else is weak. You're weak babies.
Yeah. All right. So way I can explain this is Wizards of the Coast bought D&D. They did not always own it. And I love what they've done with D&D. They had Magic, obviously. They bought D&D. They threw a ton of money behind D&D to really grow it. And I think that's an amazing thing. More and more people play D&D to this day. I think a lot of people who never would have picked up D&D have because of Wizards.
It parallels.
I love them.
For our audience who may not be familiar with it, it parallels what happened with Fallout. Bethesda picked up Fallout. It reached a bigger audience and therefore got more fans, but it isn't exactly the same thing that it was.
It isn't. I want to be careful with that though, because I actually don't want to criticize the current D&D version. No, I don't. The only reason I don't love that analogy is because I am one of the people that does believe the early Fallout games were better than the later Fallout games in a writing standpoint. Whereas I don't think the early D&D games are necessarily better in a writing standpoint. I just like them more.
Well, I think the parallel there is that I think some people like the rule sets of early D&Ds better than the later rule sets. So it's not an exact parallel, but the broad strokes are there are people who both of them got bought by other companies and they both became more popular after that happened. And there are some people who prefer earlier and some people who prefer later, and it's highly debated. That's where the analogy ends.
I just didn't want any of the current D&D players think I'm shitting on new D&D. I am not.
And some of them would want you to, because they've made decisions recently that some people don't like. But
I don't play
it's a complex thing.
That's the problem. If I'm correct, I'm like, yeah, you're right, John. The new edition sucks. I've never played it.
So you don't know.
I'm getting lucky on that guess. So.
Right. So just for clarity, and there's a lot of nuance there, but there you go. Okay.
Now, what's fascinating about this was originally the game was owned by a company called TSR. TSR in the 80s is watching these role-playing games, namely Ultima, do really well. Ultima's selling well. And they say, hey, we want in on this. And we've got basically the best product ever for this.
The inspiration of Ultima and all of these other games. Yeah.
We own the reason you guys are doing this. How would someone like to do it? And I love this story so much because they went out to bid and all these gaming companies came in and they picked Strategic Simulations, which is odd because Strategic Simulations was the smallest company that bid. Everyone else were big corporations. And they bid and they gave them the bid because Strategic Simulations had the most kick-ass idea of all of them. Everyone else was this, like, we're going to make this adventure game. It's going to do this and this. And SSI went, screw that. We're going to make a bunch of games. How about forget one game? We'll make 3 games, 4 games in which your party beats the game and then we'll make a new adventure it goes into. So then they have a new adventure once they've leveled up and then they'll beat that game and we'll make another one after that.
Right.
Which is exactly how D&D works.
Right. It's what you do with your friends. You're like, hey, John DM'd the last adventure. We still have our characters. Who wants to do the new one? And let's keep going with the characters.
I mean, they freaking nailed it. And so of course TSR was like, yep, here you go. Like, we're doing this one. And they hit this thing out of the park. And just to be able to say how much I love this game, for those who didn't listen to the end of last episode, I played this last year, just on my own. I play these games. There are, I want to say there's 3 settings. There's two Forgotten Realms and a Dragonlance settings. I will go into one of those basically annually. I don't know when, but at some point during a year, I will sit down and play one of the 3 the whole way through.
When
series.
Elminster's magic summons you back,
I can't
walk through the portal.
I can't not do it. I play these games constantly. I can play them from memory. I know them so well, and I love them. Tom, though.
So I'm coming from the complete other side of this. That seems to happen fairly regularly. John's like, hey, you should check this out. It's awesome. And then I'm like, okay, I've never played it before. And now I'm time traveling back to the 1980s and playing a DOS game and going, oh, there's no mouse. Or we'll get into all the details. But this absolutely feels like the kind of game or games that really benefits from familiarity with what's going on, from being aware of, like, for you having played it for decades, you understand the nuance of, oh, well, when you click on that, you can't see the stats here, but you have to go in this other screen in order to see the stats, or, like the nuance of finding your way around the town and like that kind of stuff. These games. And let me be clear about this. Going back and playing games from this time period is hard because we've been coddled by a lot of developers who have made things easier for us as gamers, but they were hard back then. You had to invest the time to learn the system. You had to learn what you could and couldn't do. You had to test out the boundaries of playing, but also you had to read through the 60-something page manual and the 39-page adventurer's guide and all of that stuff to even know what you're doing at all before you even start the game.
Yeah, I cannot hammer this home enough. This is D&D. If you like D&D, this is it.
Yeah,
there's
makes
no
sense.
Greater.
Yeah,
Baldur's Gate 3 is adorable, guys. It's a cool. It's not D&D. It's an adventure. It's an adventure set in a D&D setting.
Right.
That's what Neverwinter Nights. These games, they are good games. They are fun games. I have no issue with them, but they are adventure games set in a Dungeons and Dragons environment. These games are Dungeons and Dragons. just hardcore. So
and even the parallel of having to read the manual before playing is a very Dungeons and Dragons thing. You had to know how your character worked. You had to know the rules of the gameplay, when to roll the dice, what things you could equip, what monsters were like, all of this kind of stuff before you actually went into the adventure.
Yeah.
So that tracks. It's not just a 1980s thing. And for anybody who's like, well, but Baldur's Gate has a lot of the same rules and it does. No, but it doesn't have the it's almost like, and this is something we talked about in the pre-show. This game series and other games of this time period weren't just a digital thing you did. You actually had to use the touchy-feelies out of the box in order to continue playing the game and to actually do it correctly. The same way that you had to do with Dungeons and Dragons. It's like that parallel is the same. And when you take some of that stuff out, it's not exactly the same thing anymore.
No, it's not. And let's dig into it. I mean, we're just going to go right into the good. There might be a bad.
Let's talk about I'll give people the perspective of trying to figure this out now without any nostalgia or memory to go on, because
the
systems are rough. Let's just be honest. And it's 640 by 480 pixels. There's only so much you can fit on a screen. We'll get into it, but tell me about the good stuff.
I have been playing the game for almost 40 years.
Right. You just intuit what button to hit. And we'll get into that, but
it's easy. But let's talk about why this is so good. And I think we've hit on it pretty hard. It is AD&D. You have a THAC0 score. You have spell components. You have saving throws. Initiative matters. I mean, really matters, by the way. Weapon speed factors come into play. Multiple attacks. Your list of spells for clerics, mages, druids. Not that everyone plays a druid ever. This is... You don't. You just don't. It's not a helpful class. It's the same as there's a few classes. You're like, really? No.
Especially in the older systems when they were way not as balanced. No,
now they might have some value, but no.
Yeah.
But these were incredible. These are every one of those components that existed. And Tom made the good point. AD&D is a lot more complicated than D&D. There are a lot more pitfalls, for lack of a better phrase, you can go down
from D&D, the version before Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, but also from later editions. It's like the difficulty and the amount of little fiddly things that you need to know kind of spiked at one point and then reduced.
And this was the era of it. And it does... But this really feeds into customization, and it feeds into a lot of the adventure-y feel and that kind of stuff. Because one of the best parts about this game is the combat mechanic. And man, can it get hard. Because your battles, they take place. This is also why I like XCOM. It's the same setting as XCOM. It's a top-down map. It is obviously turn-based, but not turn-based because it's initiative-based, which is better. Than turn-based.
So characters with a higher stat have a chance to go earlier than characters with a lower.
Yeah, your higher initiative score goes first.
So maybe your fighter has high initiative or your thief has high initiative, which means they get to act before everyone else, which gives them a little bit of an advantage tactically.
Especially if the enemy has fireball. Yeah. Because that's what's coming down to you. You also, so what you do when you play this game is the maps, you'll have pinch points. So you actually need to kind of, if you can, you want to attack and jam an enemy up.
Funnel them through the little hallway,
Well, so their fighters are just stuck behind it, and then you can literally cast lightning bolts, fireballs, and stinking clouds over the top of them.
It's
not clear, guys. I have played this game a lot. I'm hoping we have at least one listener who's played this game with me who knows exactly what I'm talking about. If I have more than that, this will be epic. But this is what you do when you use those spells to go over the top on them. And that's what made these games, the combat on this. Again, I'm a child. This is what taught me strategic gaming. Was this. Because I'm getting my D&D, which is awesome, getting my adventure, I'm getting that. But at the same time, I'm also getting something that obviously is near and dear to my heart, strategic gaming.
Right.
Because the combat levels, it was, you would even organize your party because that way you knew who would be in the front, who'd be in the back. So you could actually organize your party so that I would always have a ranged character would be behind.
Right.
So that way I wouldn't, because you can't fire ranged weapons when in melee combat. So your bow and arrow is kind of useless when there's a goblin in front of you.
Right.
Now, those little details, again, 1988. Yeah. And they got those details down.
And similar games have used a lot of those same strategies. I mean, they all come from Dungeons and Dragons, but the visual aspect of putting them on a screen like this and moving your characters around. I mean, it wasn't something you found everywhere yet.
No, it was not. And the next big one, this is Pool of Radiance. So we're going to talk more next week about Dark Queen of Krynn, which will shift quite a bit. It's the same general mechanic, but the game gets just a lot better. You know, your character building, though. 6 characters, any race, any class. Now, it's
standard ones. To be elf, human, dwarf, halfling,
but
gnome.
There's some people, actually, I do want to call something out. People are saying this. Elves die permanently. You can't resurrect an elf. So if you select an elf and it dies,
it's gone. It's gone.
It's gone. That's how hard this game was. Like, maybe not. But half elves you could resurrect. Anyway, side note for old school players like myself. Now, you build all these things up all so you could just go on your adventure. And then to Tom's point, the adventure. The adventure is... Now, couple pieces about this adventure. We're going to do the Forgotten Realms this week, and this is the first one that they have reported into. As I said earlier, the coolest thing that they did was when you beat Pool of Radiance, then you would go into, I forget the next one's called off the top of my head. Actually, it's in front of me. Why can't I'll just do that. I was like, I forget the next one's called, and then I can actually look at it. Then you go to Curse of Azerbon's, Secret of Silver Blades, and then Pools of Darkness. When you beat the game, you would just save it. And then when you would open, the next game came out, you would load that save up and your same character would come over. You'd lose some of your gear. It had a story about that. It got stolen or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it was because you would have level caps. And so you'd level cap at level 10.
Right.
And then the next one, you could go to level 15.
Right.
And then the next one, you go to level 20.
Right. And you become way more powerful, but the enemies become way more powerful.
Exactly. Yeah. Really great thing. And so then one of the best pieces about this is how well written these settings were. And Tom covered this, I think, really well earlier. These things came with tomes. So the way it works when you play through the game, and so those who don't know, is you go through and you walk up somewhere and there would be too much text for a screen.
Right.
So it would just say, your conversation is recorded as journal entry 71. And you pull out your adventurer's journal and you flip to the back and you would read journal entry 71. And by the way, some of those entries were useless. It was it was part of the someone world building. In a tavern. Yes, someone in a tavern telling you a story. Nothing to do with the adventure you're on. Just telling you something.
Right.
But that's what it was. And they were random too. So you couldn't go and grab it and try to read your way through it. Nope. It was done in a way that almost like the old choose your own adventure books. You could not figure out which one was which and how it was going. So you would get this really great. So you're playing the game and you'd get there and you'd open the book up and you read that. And then maybe you get lucky and one of the things you'd learn would be a map. And that would be, journal entry 23 would be a map of a town or a map of where you're going to go. Because, by the way, good luck finding your way around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you had the clue book, which they also would release.
Right.
And the clue book would tell you where everything was.
Right.
Even with the clue book, though, good luck beating these games. Seriously, good luck beating these games. Oh, you can cheat. I've cheated on these games and not won. Because the battles are that hard. Because
so I had to look up some of this stuff, a lot of this stuff. I could only get so far before I even realized the manuals were a thing. But watching other people play, I watched, and there was a guy who did a playthrough, non-commentary, just playthrough on YouTube years ago. Early on in the game, he makes this party, he's walking around town, finds a bar, gets in a bar fight. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Little things like that can just happen. There's 24 people in the bar trying to beat up his party. I was like, holy crap, this is his first fight. How is it? What? 24 enemies on the map? That's ridiculous.
This is how you get experience.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
And I mean, by the way, you select it. You go to the bar, and one of the options is you press F, and that's fight.
Just start a bar fight.
This game's awesome. This game is awesome.
Yep.
It's so perfect. But the storyline really is. I mean, this is Witcher level storyline. You really are going on a true adventure. It is in depth. Each little bit, there's nuances to it. You're uncovering stuff. You're not getting, like some of the more modern games, great reveals. You know who you're going to go beat. It's the evil wizard.
Right.
That's fine.
Right.
But how are you going to get there?
It sounds like it's a lot more involved and detailed than like the NES RPGs of this era.
Yes.
Right. Like, because NES stuff was still in the like, hey, go save the princess or go fight the bad wizard. Good luck. And oh, by the way, there's a few little things here and there that you can kind of pick up that fill out the world. This is way deeper than that.
And a lot of it is that adventurer's journal. A lot of it is that, because what happens is that those NES games couldn't give you that.
Right.
The expectation was whatever fits in the cartridge.
Right.
So we just don't get as much information. Nowadays, these adventurer's journals, for those of you who are younger and that have no idea what on earth we're talking about, this is like when they start putting like long cutscenes into games where you really could explain a lot more.
Right. And it worked on the PC because there was more,
a little bit long.
Yeah, there was more memory. So they could actually do that on here. And it's the trade-off. And this is, you probably had the same experience as a kid. When I would compare playing games on my PC compared to playing games on a console, I knew that the console was for like more action, but also less story. There was less depth in anything I did on it. And if I wanted something really deep and meaty, but was harder to get into, then I would play something on PC. And that has like, there is no distance between those two anymore. Games are designed for both and they just work on both. The distance between both of those is very, very small. There are still some like indie developers that will do PC only games that are just a little bit deeper than anything you'll get on a console, usually because you need a keyboard or something to play it.
It's more that.
It's more that. But back then there was a big difference, and you knew you may not get as fancy graphics or it may not be as exciting or easy to play. But if you invested dozens of hours, you'd end up with an adventure that was like an awesome story.
And so the early games, which we're talking about now, the Pool of Radiance, for example, is you're getting the color palette is minimal, but it was customizable. And I remember this.
Yes.
You could customize your arms, your legs, the body, the shield,
the hair,
sword, and head.
Yeah.
Head. And each of them had two parts to it. So you had like an in-run and an out-run is how I would call it.
Like
the
an
inside,
upper
the outside,
and a lower, or it's a yeah.
And I'm very good at customizing that. And that was your entire customization, like 4 head options.
Right. Well, okay.
That's what you had.
So let's be really clear. There's the zoomed out view of your party, which is like the battle view where you're like these little lanky looking people. Right. And then there's like the zoomed in character portrait view, which is a selection of like one of 10 or 12 heads and 10 or 12 bodies. And some of them is like old man head, but like hot lady body, like, and you can mix and match them if you want.
You could move these things around, but you would customize the body out. If I had a wizard, I might put him in a robe that kind of might be a dress. You really can't tell. There is no armor. It was just blue.
It was just a blue body. You make it
right. Blue.
Right. But then the character picture could have.
If you were a dwarf, the character was shorter.
Yeah.
That's what it was. The icon was shorter.
Yeah. But you could mix them up too. Like you could choose dwarf and then make them tall. Like it allowed you to do that.
Oh, the game didn't care.
Yeah.
The game didn't care at all.
Yeah.
Didn't change your stats.
You could create a male character and like in the character portrait and make them look like a female. And maybe that's their thing. They just let you do anything.
Yeah. Another key one in these games was not necessarily introduced, but Tom was making a comment earlier about NES or console versus video game or versus PC. But you are over encumbered is something that came up a lot in these games. You could actually just have too much gold.
Yeah. Oh, and you had to choose
too much equipment.
Okay, tell me more about this, because let's talk Final Fantasy. Your party gets money, your party gets items, it goes into your party's inventory. But this is D&D, which means every character has their own inventory.
Exactly. And every character has their own strength, which means every character has their own carry weight. And if you had too much stuff, your maximum speed was 12, so your maximum movement on like the combat screen would be 12.
Right.
The more weight you had, that would go down. So you can imagine we go all the way down to, I believe, 3 is the lowest it would get down to. So you can imagine if I'm a warrior and I've got a sword and I can only move 3, I can have great initiative, not fighting for a little bit.
Yeah. It takes you a while to get where you need to go. Right.
Real big math game you play, And by the way, your armor counts against you. So everything, it's not just what's you're carrying in your backpack. It's also what's
weight
on you.
Right.
Your sword weighs something. Your shield weighs something. If you have a helm, you want to have plate mail. These things all add up. This is awesome, obviously, to me, as you can hear. I'm just overjoyed by this.
Right.
I mean, it might be nightmare to some people. This is not something that exists in console, where it's
at
like,
this
oh
time,
yeah, I'm heavy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Later it'll come in.
Yeah. And it was something that was in D&D, like the tabletop version. So it was something they carried over, but it's also something you find in games today, like RPGs today. Almost all of them have some sort of limited inventory carry weight system, something.
Yeah. I literally do have the player's handbook from AD&D behind me.
Yeah.
It's in my office that I bought in 1987 or 86. So it's like, it's fine.
I have one that my dad handed down to me. It ended up in my room when I was in high school. And I never had friends who knew how to play. So I never actually got to play it until after, like much later. But I would pore over it. I would look at all the pictures. I read all the descriptions of the items and the characters. Yeah. And I was like, this is amazing. I wish I could play it. And I just didn't have anyone who knew how to play.
Yeah. Well, you should have played this. It turns out you could have just played by yourself.
Hey, there you go.
And we had it there. So this game, I can keep going on this. But Tom, what else did you think was good about it?
Yeah, there's a lot. Again, if I would love to hear people's perspectives on this, because I have a feeling the majority of our audience has not played these games. So at least go look them up.
Yeah.
And visually, it's like, you might be shocked. This is an old DOS game. We're talking 16 colors. Yeah. We're talking 640 by 480 pixels. It was really hard to get into as somebody who just didn't even have a manual that I read from the beginning. This is the best way to describe it. I spent less time playing it than I did exploring what happens when you just try to do stuff. Like, fair. What happens if I go over here? What does this button do? What happens, like that kind of thing, right? So I only got so far into it. But after watching gameplay, beyond what I was able to do, I realized that there is a lot going on in the combat, the interactions with people, the fact that you can get in that bar fight, all of that kind of stuff. And the character creator, it obviously has lots of options in it, although the visual representation of all of that is obscure a little bit. But I get what they were going for, and I'm just going to have to trust you on the story because I was only able to get so far. Like, you journey into the bad part of the city in order to fight people. And then, like, sometimes, and I don't know if this is, I'm pretty sure the game also ran pretty quickly back then, but running it in a browser and then, I attacked that guy. And then the result of the attack would blink on the screen and then disappear. And I was like, I don't know how much damage I did. I have no idea. It was just too fast.
So when you run DOSBox, you have to, there's a trick
to slow it down.
Yes. Yeah. There's a command in DOSBox to slow it down.
But everything else ran fine. I could read the dialogue kind of came in at a regular clip.
It's a setting. It's actually a setting.
Is it? I couldn't figure that part out.
It's welcome to DOS commands, Tom. You got to go into, you actually have to go into CD /, you have to go into the directory, then you have to go into the config.
Yeah, you have to edit the config file.
Edit in the config file in DOS.
It's like editing Skyrim. Yeah, oh man.
Yeah. This is you and me going back to computer lab in 1990.
Yeah,
Oh, how did I do this?
Right. And remembering DOS commands, like how to move up a directory or what, all of that stuff.
Yeah. Yes. I did look, by the way, these games are available on Steam.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't look on
$9, for $10. But you actually get a collection of them. You can buy every D&D game ever made, I think, for $80. That's everything ever made. But they've got the smaller ones, $10. You can get like this entire Forgotten Realms section.
Cool. I wonder if it probably is set to run better on Windows than this ran in a browser window.
Well, it comes. So Steam has their own DOS emulator.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that's worth checking out then.
Anyway.
But some of the other positives, just notice things like the town is named Flan.
Yeah, of course it is.
With a PH, not an F. So it's like the food, but not. I thought that was funny. But okay, so what about the bad? I can go into, that's not really the bad so much as it is it's like reading a different language. It's like playing games of this era on PC, and it's not just this game, is like you have to spend some time understanding the language of how the game even works.
I don't know what this word bad is referring to.
Right.
Bad.
You're going to say nothing on here is bad. You're going to be like, this game's the best. Bad? Nothing's bad.
What's bad?
Is there anything that you're like, this person's not so great?
So here's what I'll say. I won't call it bad. I refuse calling this game bad. I will say I'll give people a warning. This game's brutal. And so, for example, you will get lost.
Yeah.
You will not know where to go. And these battles are hard and unforgivingly hard.
Doesn't care. The game does not care.
This isn't your friend, the dungeon master.
Right.
This is that you go to a place and the dungeon master had a bad day.
Right. He's like, I'm going to screw everybody over and no one's going to survive this dungeon. And you're like, yeah, try us out. And then you're like, okay, I have maps, I have walkthroughs. It might take me 10 tries to beat a battle. And at the end of that battle, 2 of my favorite characters got disintegrated by a beholder. Yeah.
The irony is also, I should make a comment. I love this game so much. One of the largest tattoos on my arm is a beholder disintegrating a warrior.
Yeah. Inspired by this.
Calling it out that, yes, that's where this stuff comes from.
Right.
But that is how brutal this game is. You will play this game and you just will lose.
Yeah.
Bad.
Okay. So other than difficulty, everything else is good?
Nothing.
Okay. So here's my perspective as somebody who's never played this, trying it for the first time. Okay. So first of all, let's just state the obvious. The interface is rough.
Oh, it's 1988. Yeah.
It's 1988. Yeah. But none of this stuff is not to be expected. So let me caveat this as these aren't failings on the designers so much as it is just, again, like trying to read a language that I haven't read in a long time. Yeah. Let's call it like that.
That's fair.
Like the graphics are very limited. So if 16 colors and 640 by 48 pixels is not something you're able to manage, you and I have issues with things like going back and playing the Nintendo 64 again or the PS1 and being
that was weird.
The polygons and the graphics are a little bit weird, but you get used to it. But for people who grew up with this stuff, you're like, oh, this is nostalgic. This is the way games looked back then. It's fine. Heck, even the letters for the words are made out of 16 pixels each, and they're written in a fancy script style.
Oh yeah, there are times
them a little bit hard to read.
Some of them. Yeah, I'll admit that. There's times on the screen I'm like, is that a T?
Yeah, it's it's trying to be stylized with very limited tools, but hey, at least they tried, right? The amount of info they can fit on a screen is limited. And so you don't have like in modern games where you can open up your inventory and just mouse over something and see all the data that you need in order to make a decision. There are times where you walk in a shop and it's like, here are all the weapons. Here are the costs, but you don't know what they do. You don't know who can equip them. You don't know like how much damage. Why is a scimitar better than a longsword? I don't know.
It's in the event. It's
in the guide.
It's in the guide.
Yeah,
that one I can tell you where that all is.
Right,
it's in the guide.
Right, but if you're a modern gamer like I'm coming at this from, and you don't have the guide, then you don't know that, and so you're going, well, I guess I just picked the more expensive one because hopefully it does more damage. Like, you don't know. So that's a thing. You're
also dunk at the scimitar. It's not helpful.
There you go.
Get the long sword or the broadsword because that's 2d4 damage instead of 1d8.
There you go.
God, my wife gets so mad when I do this. She's like, "You're such a dork." I'm like, "I know."
Yeah. I grew up playing these games.
Sorry, this has all been memorized.
Yep. Also, you're going to spend a lot of time messing around in menus. The way the menus work, again, there's no mouse. There's just text at the bottom of the screen, and you hit the first letter for the word that you want to use. So, like, you want to edit a character, you hit E. If you want to fight in the bar, you hit F or whatever. Again, it's of its time. The inputs you enter by typing the letter of the word mean that you should just keep your hands on the keyboard as if you're typing. That's your default stance. It's a little bit weird to think about. Okay, if you have a controller, your hands are on the controller. If you're playing a first-person shooter, you've got your WASD on the left and you got your mouse on the right. Nope. Default sitting position for this game is like you're typing at work. Which is because hilarious.
This game came up when we were all getting typing lessons.
Right.
So of course that's how we would learn.
Also, like when little things like when you beat an enemy, it tells you how much money dropped, but then you have to type in the number. It'll say like 130 silver. How much silver do you want to pick up? And you can't just hit enter to take all. You have to type 130.
Hit 99999.
Just okay, so you could choose a number bigger than anything on the screen.
Yeah, no.
Oh man,
you do that. Later games fixed this with the word all.
Yeah. Oh, see, but they didn't think about that yet.
That's why we're covering the later ones later. Some of the improvements, but you can also do 99. If you just press the buttons, you press like 99999. It will default to the maximum.
Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of that kind of
so
stuff.
Much. I'm doing this all from memory.
Yeah, but that's the stuff that you learn having played it back then that you just do and you don't have to think about. Or like, who's going to pick up the money? Like, you got to think about that. But it's not like you just click the character. You actually have to go through the menus to choose that stuff. Right?
Yeah, you have to highlight the character who's going. It is not very clear, but yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's a little weird.
Figure it out.
Yeah. So there's also the fact that because everything is like hard to find, you spend a lot of time looking for things and and again, without the manual and having read through almost 100 pages of stuff, I didn't just by default know how the inventory worked or what the stats meant specifically. Clearly, I know certain stats for certain things because I've played 100 RPGs, but that kind of stuff. All of that stuff is just, it's super fiddly, and without the manual, you don't know what's going on. So that's just the warning as you're getting in. But then after trying to play, that's when I realized like, oh yeah, there's probably a manual. So I did some research and I found in the Internet Archive, there's the clue book, the manual, the reference card, and the Adventurer's Journal. And the Adventurer's Journal's 39 pages. And let me just read you the beginning of it, because I think people are going to love this. And all of this stuff is written in that same type of old-timey looking font, but clearly without pixels. But it says here, what is the Adventurer's Journal all about? The Adventurer's Journal is your guide to Pools of Radiance. It includes flyers, maps, and information that your adventurers would know before beginning their quest. It also includes information that your adventurers will discover during their quests. So clearly I was supposed to read all of this before I even loaded the game up, but I had no idea. So there you go. It also comes with a little disc that allows you to decode runes in order to translate them, which is that was their like trying to keep people from pirating the game thing back then. Yeah, right?
the anti-piracy from back in the day. Let's just do a little thing people remember. Remember when things were printed? They were usually red with black writing on it, because if you did it that way, you couldn't photocopy it, because of all of our photocopiers were black and white back in the day. These ones had a code wheel, and I actually pulled it up here. I'm looking at a copy of a code wheel, and you would spin the code wheel. You would spin the outside. It's a piece of paper, and you would spin it. And it was all dots, it was all dashes, or dashes and dots. That's what it would tell
like
you.
Morse
which
code.
one is it?
Yeah.
It was a Morse code. And then you had to align the two figures on the outside, almost like hieroglyphs. And when you align those two, that's how you would know what it would look like. And yeah, it was super cool looking.
Yeah. All these old looking runes. Yeah. And you would use it to line things up in order to decipher what the runes are trying to tell you in order to type something in the game, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so this is how you would start when you would start the game. CD // go to your thing.
Yeah.
And you hit start. And then when you began your adventure, you would have to enter a code. You had to type the word exactly. It wasn't a selection.
Right.
You had to type it.
Yeah.
That was by the way, that also comes up in some of the games. There would be times in the games where you would have to solve a mystery, and you had to type in what the answer was.
Yeah.
And it was
based on your code wheel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it had that. In the Adventurer's Journal, there was like maps of towns and things, which is really helpful. Another thing people should know, when you start out the game, one of the things it does is it gives you a little tour of the town. It takes you to different places and it tells you what each of the buildings is. And then you very quickly forget where any of that is, because you don't have a map open while you're doing it, unless you have one with you, because you've got the manual right there. And then you're like, oh, I know where everything is now, because I'm looking at a map as I'm playing the game. And there's a bestiary, there's items and spell descriptions. It's very much like a Dungeons and Dragons DM guide.
We'll talk about this in a different show for a different day, but I do miss the era of game manuals.
Yeah. It was cool. It was cool to have that to look at when you weren't playing the game. And the other thing that I love about,
or if we're being honest, later when the game was loading.
Yeah, right. While you were putting the seventh disc in order.
Yeah. When we get to the CD era, we go to disc 2. I'm doing some reading, aren't I?
Yeah. Wait 30 minutes for the next one. Yep. Download and loads into your hard drive. But the other thing I love the most about Adventurer's Journal is that it includes a history of the town and all of their major laws. Yeah. The kinds of stuff that you would know if you were living in a town like this.
Yeah. It's D&D.
Yeah.
I like how by the way, I thought we were in the bad section, Tom. Well, this is all good stuff to me.
This is good stuff. It's just, it comes with the warning of, if you're going to seriously play this, read that stuff first. Otherwise, you're going to be walking around blindly like I did. And you're going to be like, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. It's all in the manual. It's all right there. Yeah. So there you go.
It's amazing.
Maybe I need to read the manual before we do the next one. I need to do my research first and then play.
I will just send you Dark Queen of Krynn so you can read all the manuals and know what's going on. Also the backgrounds of Death Knights of Krynn and Champions of Krynn, because I've beaten all of those.
Cool. All right. So should people play this? You're going to say absolutely.
Yes. Yes. So here's what I'll say. If you're not a D&D person, it's fine. Give it a skip. This game is crunchy. This is crunchy. Hard.
It's rough.
You are talking DOS. Even if you get it off Steam, you're probably gonna have to look up how to use a DOS box.
Yes.
This is not, no one has made these things ported where, I just click here and click there. However, if you believe you enjoy Dungeons and Dragons, you need to go play these games, because I do believe they're the greatest version of D&D ever made. And most people who have played them agree with me on that. So it's not just John shouting this.
This isn't just your opinion about Terminator movies.
No, this is
right.
Yeah, this one I'm right about. They did a really amazing job of capturing what Dungeons and Dragons was at the time, and what I think Dungeons and Dragons always should be. In my opinion, just off the cuff, is I think Baldur's Gate 3 would have been better off being multiple games. Instead of making someone sit through and play 500 hours of a game, let me complete a game and then have another game come out that I would then, don't charge me $70 for each one.
Sure, but expansions or whatever. God. Right.
But if you just did it as honestly $10 games,
right,
and people just buy them, and hey, I got but you level cap. That's what these games were. You level caps. Let's say the first part of Baldur's Gate 3, you level cap at level 8. You play through, you get to level 8, you beat it. Yay, adventure completed. Then we go to the next one. It makes more sense from playing a Dungeons and Dragons. It's more enjoyable as a fan, if I'm being honest. I can have completion and walk away for a little bit.
I've had a conversation with many other people, and I myself have gone through this, where we've gotten halfway through Baldur's Gate 3 and then fell off. It's just too long. It's just that massive. It is a massive game. Yeah.
Same with Witcher. Yeah.
But Witcher, a lot of those games I would play and then I'd come back later and finish them. But by the time I came back, I'd forgotten a lot about how my character worked and all of that.
I don't think anyone has beaten Witcher 3, and when they're beating it, can remember what they were doing. Hey, how did we get here? Because there's always that part of your 200-hour side quest, and you're I'm
killing drowners for the 10th time. Yeah.
There was that girl and she's in trouble. I should go take care of that.
Right.
My bad.
Right.
Ooh. Yeah.
All right. It is a piece of D&D history too. So if you're a fan of D&D history, and also it's kind of interesting that stories like this are hidden behind these games in a way where you have to crack the code to get to them by braving the game, which kind of makes it its own adventure. So that's kind of fun.
I tell everyone, you guys have to go brave some DOS box. All right, not our 20-year-old listeners. You guys are free of this. But anyone over 40, come on. You remember.
You use DOS. Come on.
You remember DOS.
Right.
It's kind of fun to go back.
C:\\/ you got this.
It's kind of fun,
Loading memory profiles on boot. Anyway, that was the whole thing. But hey, we're going to take a quick break, and we've got your comments to talk about. Man, we've been getting so many comments, so many wonderful comments from all of you. So hang out for that. We'll be right back.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
All right, we are back, and if you enjoy the show, and you know what? We don't ask for a lot of help, but if you want to help us keep the show growing, and you happen to have friends or family who are into these retro games, recommend the show to them. Just say, hey, I've been listening to this show. I think you'd enjoy it. That would help a ton. Also, you can leave reviews and comments and that kind of thing. And all of that is extremely helpful. Obviously, we can't do this without all of you. So thank you for being here. Also, if you want to check out our other shows, John does the 40K Lorecast and the history of 40K. I do the Fallout Lorecast, the Elder Scrolls Lorecast, the Lord of the Rings Lorecast. And we both do this show. So there you go. But here, let's get into the comments, John. We've got a number of these from Aladdin.
This will be good.
One from Lion King still. This is Lucas who says, will we ever cover the controversial arrival of GTA on the PS1?
Ooh. Yeah, probably. GTA was interesting because that was the first GTA, which wasn't as...
3 was the really, really like big in the news one.
Yeah, but 3 was San Andreas?
No, it was GTA 3. So there's GTA 1 and 2, which were top down. There's GTA 3,
That's
which
right.
was
yes.
the first actual like third person view one. And then very quickly after that came Vice City and San Andreas.
I actually never played GTA 1.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
And that was on PC. And it was not nearly as controversial as 3 because 3 all of a sudden felt a little bit more real because polygons and things. But yeah, it's worth a discussion. Absolutely. Also, Lucas says, in my not so humble opinion, the Tarzan soundtrack beats the Lion King soundtrack every day of the week. Abso-freaking-lutely. Yes.
Don't know.
Man. Okay,
not Disney.
So
Disney doesn't do it.
I wasn't super into Disney, but I also was a young dad. So had seen these movies as a young dad, right? And my daughter was born not too long after Tarzan was a thing. And so watching that with her as a kid. Lion King is not great. Those songs, I mean, it's fine. But Tarzan was Phil Collins. And some of those songs are legitimately solid. Like, they're fine. They're good. But yeah, absolutely agree with that. Teolos for the Aladdin episode says, did you guys ever play the Fever Dream series James Pond, a game about a fish that stretches going through some wild themed levels? The sequel was Robocod. I remember the name James Pond. I think I can picture the cover of the game in my head, but I never did play it.
I am looking these both up right now. I've never played these games in my life, but now I definitely want to.
Yeah, maybe we should have a silly...
I'll be honest, I'm more interested in Robocod than I am James Pond, because it's just a better pun.
Right, yeah. Maybe we should have like a silly series where we take on just like ridiculous, silly kinds of games like this, or Worms, or like some of that kind of stuff. Yeah, we'll look into that. Thank you for that comment. Finn says, my new thing of asking, besides Mario Sunshine, is now Age of Empires 2.
Yes.
That one definitely.
Age of Empires 2.
Yeah.
I mean, the only issue is Age of Empires 2, I believe, is 1999. It is a later game.
Yeah, but we'll get into the late and then early 2000s at some point.
Where you need to do a run of, what are those games called? Is it strategic? What's that was style called?
RTS.
RTS, there. Thank you.
Yeah.
I shouldn't think of it. Yeah. We need to do a run on RTSs.
Yes.
So 100%. Yes.
Yep. Definitely on the list, Finn.
Yes.
Thanks for that one. Wasteland Waldo says, Super Mario Sunshine is my favorite Mario game.
Fine, we're playing this.
More Sunshine talk.
Ah!
I would love for you guys to cover it just to understand why it's not your jam. I would love to see more classic Sonic and Mega Man coverage. PS1 and Sega Genesis were some of my first consoles that I ever played. It would be hard to not go back and play some of the other Sonic and Mega Man games. I think that like the ones that we covered are the ones like the earliest ones, other than we did Mega Man 2 instead of Mega Man 1. But yeah, we've got a lot of games to get through. We will be covering some of the more popular ones and also some of the less popular weird ones. Don't worry.
Fine. We're just going to do Super Mario Sunshine at some point, just because, you know what? We'll do Super Mario Sunshine and Mario 64 and see which one. And maybe the Mario RPG and see which of the group breaks John.
We could do weird Mario games. We could include, we've talked about doing Dr. Mario. We've talked about like, we could
I just play Dr. Mario randomly.
Yeah,
It's that one I just like.
That was still good.
That's on this computer. I'm like, it's just fun.
Yeah. Ty says, mini episode on Marble Madness. Did you play? Yes. I played Marble Madness. Do you remember that?
Of course I played Marble Madness. Everyone played Marble Madness, didn't they?
That was a multiple Nintendo rental for me. That was a every so often, if I didn't know what else to rent, I would just pick it up again.
Yeah. I didn't really enjoy it, but I kept playing it. I don't know why.
I kept playing some of the levels were just
something
terrible
about it.
But
something about it. You're like, I'll try this again.
It's
You're
almost like
this
the
game
idea
sucks.
It's like the idea was better than the execution. Maybe that was it.
But you keep playing it though. This game sucks, but I keep playing it.
Yeah, it was frustrating, but it also felt like I could do this. I could beat this level. Well, thanks for that idea, Ty. AJ says, speaking of Demolition Man, not every version of that movie has Taco Bell winning the franchise war. Deep lore for Demolition Man incoming, John.
I am Googling this as you speak.
Other versions have Pizza Hut. Also, if you're looking for a divisive game to cover, I'd suggest Final Fantasy VIII.
I didn't know this. It was in Europe. In Europe, no one knew what Taco Bell was. So in the European movie, Pizza Hut won the franchise.
They had to do another Pepsi company.
Which makes sense, because to be fair, like if you release like, Taco Bell won it, you're in Germany. Like, what is Taco Bell?
What's a Taco Bell?
But Pizza Hut exists. Interesting. All right. First off, thank you, AJ.
Thanks, AJ.
Thank you.
Now we are wiser men.
There's so many of my friends who are getting texted tonight this information. Yeah. What was the rest of it? That's all I cared about.
So also, there's more here. If you're looking for another divisive game to cover, I don't know how John's going to feel about this one. I'd suggest Final Fantasy VIII. Yeah. Hands down.
So that's a great one. We can do Final Fantasy. The problem with Final Fantasy VIII is I'll have this debate anytime. My younger brother is a Final Fantasy VIII person, and I'm a Final Fantasy. So everyone agrees on 7, right? 7 we all align on. The fight is 8 and 9. That's, I think, where the fight exists. I'm a 9. My brother's 8. And honestly, I really won't argue with him that hard. I don't like it. I will agree Triple Triad was awesome. Yes. Triple Triad was one of the best, probably in game. That one and the Blitzball are probably my 2 favorites. But my complaint on Final Fantasy VIII is just too much dialogue. That's my complaint on Final Fantasy VIII. It
does kind of overstay its welcome at some point. And the whole having to get magic from things thing, there was a mechanic in there that just got a little bit grindy. But to finish the comment real quick, Final Fantasy VIII, hands down, has the best side game in Triple Triad. Yeah, I think we all love Triple Triad in the entire series. And the most confusing equipment/player strength system with the junction system. Would love to hear an episode on that. Thanks for the read and all the great episodes.
I think it's rough. Yeah, I think it's rough.
Yeah.
That was actually a mistake.
I appreciate the attempt, though. It's not my favorite Final Fantasy, but
yeah.
I don't think it's a bad game. Noel Fashioned says, hard game month? Can't wait to hear the Stanley, the Search for Dr. Livingston episode.
I didn't know this game existed.
This is another that I recognize the name, but I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, this is wild. I have no idea what this is.
That's how difficult it is. You can't even understand what it is.
Yeah. This is interesting.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
All right. I'm going to keep reading comments while you dig into that a little bit. Lucas says, in the Final Fantasy conversation, I feel like we need to talk about Final Fantasy X or X.
Yes, and Blitzball.
And Blitzball, yep. Also love some of the... I thought maybe you'd read ahead when you mentioned Blitzball.
No.
Also love some of the random weapons, like the fact that the guy effectively uses a volleyball to murder his enemies. I always thought it was pretty funny.
It is. Yeah, Wakka's kind of the weirdest character.
He's
I'm going to throw a ball
weird.
at somebody. Also, why does the ball come back? It's like, that's not how dodgeball works.
And if I recall, at some point, it does a lot of damage. Like, it's really effective at certain points in the game.
If you get is it the epic level version of it? However, it's a pain in the ass to get. But it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, good memories. Roger Rankin says, been listening from the get-go of the series and love it. Yeah. Look forward to it every Thursday. I'm Australian. Hello, Aussie friends. Sorry, we made fun of the Aussie film that we got in the 80s in the US that totally made fun of or messed up Australian stuff forever.
Oh, they love it. It's fine. He's a gem.
I'm sure he loves when we say shrimp on the Barbie because okay. Anyway, sorry, listen to this series from John's 40K Lorecast, and you just did the Space Hulk app. Will there be a Retro Recall episode on the 1993 Space Hulk game?
Yeah, we probably need to do some of those ones. At some point, Tom and I need to do some coverage of our other shows. So we need to play Fallout. We got to do some, obviously some Warhammer games. Yeah, that Space Hulk game.
Old Elder Scrolls.
I think they're rough.
You like these old D&D games? They were highly informed by that.
Those ones. Not
So Roger finishes and says, also, John, love that you and Brad are slipping in a Euro trip reference every 40K episode.
Someone finally caught it. Yes, it was. We had a little run there where I was just dropping Euro trip over and over again for a while. I'm going to start picking more movies. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Mark Litton says, I was born in December of 93 and owned Aladdin and Lion King both on the SNES. I think this might explain why I'm such an angry person, and I thank you for teaching me this about myself. Follow to unlock more traumatic memories. Keep it up, gents. Love the show. You're welcome, Mark.
Games are horrifying, weren't they?
We are your therapists now, so you're welcome for that. We'll send you a bill. Jason R says, remember playing this game and getting past the stampede, talking about Lion King. No one believed me that you could grow up as Simba. They all thought I was Lion.
Good one. Good one. But that game's horrifying, guys.
Yeah, no.
Why?
No wonder none of your friends thought you actually grew up at the end, because they couldn't get that far. Yeah. CC Fox says, I look forward to the new episodes for the show, and it's fast become my favorite podcast. I was so surprised to hear you two read two of my comments from past episodes, which honestly made my day on the way home from work. Keep up the great content, and please look at Syndicate Wars. We talked about Syndicate once when somebody else brought it up. Those I liked the Syndicate games. They were a little crunchy and difficult and kind of obtuse, but they
were cool though.
They were cool.
Yeah, but this was one of those great ones.
Yeah,
but I just like these ones influenced a lot of the stuff we get later. That's why I like it.
Right. Yeah. So Syndicate, those games are going to be on the list at some point. Who knows when we'll get there, but we'll get there. John on the Aladdin episode says, love the show. I follow the 40K and Lord of the Rings lorecasts. It has been fun listening to you guys banter and reminisce about the games you played growing up. As a possible palate cleanser, I think you guys should do the first video games you can remember playing. For me, it would be Sonic CD. I was also wondering what happened to the challenge and punishment games you guys would do. Yeah, we addressed this a while ago. It was honestly, it's a real bummer to have to play a crappy game every week. It just kind of got old at some point, and we weren't sure that it was as enjoyable. So instead, we decided that sometimes we would cover really difficult or crappy games like we did in that month period with all those hard games. So it just kind of shifted. So
I can also tell you one of the earliest games I played, because my parents were the way they were, was probably Math Blaster.
Math Blaster. Oh man, you've just opened up like early PC games.
Yeah.
I had one that was dinosaurs that taught you how to type.
Yeah. Oh,
did you have that? Dino, it was Dino something, but it was like a typing game. John's looking it up right now. Do you have
was this
Dino
game? It was in the
Dino
80s.
Writer. I'm going to read the last comment while you get through that. This is from Some Pilot 82. Freaking love this show, John. Looking at Aladdin, it was a freaking happy nightmare game I had at the time. But when you go into Aladdin, I kind of think you could have started with the absolute classic Prince of Persia OG for DOS. It kind of redefined the genre of games. Also, the best guys, great job on this. Yeah, we both played Prince of Persia. That's classic for sure.
Yeah, Prince of Persia is an extreme classic game.
The original one. Yeah, once you got used to the controls, once you got you had to jump at the right spots, you had to figure out your way through the mazes, you had to learn how to do the sword combat. Once you figured that stuff out, the controls at the time were limited, and also the animations were so well done compared to everything else that you just had never played anything like that before. But yeah, cool series of games. Thanks, Some Pilot, for the recommendation. Did you find anything else yet, John?
I'm trying to find like Dinosaur Adventure. No, that's different.
Dinosaur.
It was
like,
find it. No,
it was like a typing.
I know what you're. I remember these typing games. Yeah. I mean, I'm also found. I remember I'm playing 688 Attack Sub. Is that what I played when I was younger?
Yeah,
there's a bunch of these games.
Yeah. So I grew up. We had an Atari because my dad wanted it because he liked Pac-Man in the arcade. But I thought I told this story before. I think my brother and I grew up thinking he bought it for us at some point. We just didn't remember when we got it because we were so young.
Yeah.
But no, it was his. So my earliest memory of games was Atari games like Space Invaders, Adventure, Yar's Revenge, E.T. Oh my God. Yeah, those games. But we'll look into this. Maybe we can find the dino typing game and that kind of thing. Anything else before we head out, John?
No, I think next week we're going to cover a bit more of this. We're going to go to the end of the strategic simulation games with Dark Queen of Krynn. So at this point, graphics get massively improved. They basically learn from all of the bits and they dump this last magnificent game that is, I mean, I will admit it, getting past the first bit of this game is going to be hard. It's one of those.
Awesome.
Man, is it good. Man, is it good. Oh,
all right. Well, maybe I'll read the manual this time and we'll see how it goes. But thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next week with one more D&D Gold Box game. And until then, stay safe out there. See you next time.
See you guys then.
Recall.
Robots Radio. Games, lore, stories, community. Just press play.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.